From people getting physically tortured to dysfunctional families literally getting dropped off in the middle of nowhere to work through their grievances, today I'd like to cover some game and reality TV shows that were promptly axed. But first, I have to go, because in around 10 hours, I'm going to be on a game show. But it's a dating game show run by the YouTube channel Cut. I applied to be on it as a joke, but it's not a joke anymore. We'll talk about that later on in the video, but I need to go to set. The Chamber. Featuring literal torture, in which contestants were strapped down and forced to face extreme temperatures, The Chamber is an American game show that aired on Fox in January of 2002. Essentially, contestants were strapped into a chair inside of a chamber, where, while being asked questions, the temperature inside the chamber would either start at 110 degrees Fahrenheit or 30, with the hot chamber reaching a maximum of 150 degrees, through the means of jets with flames around the contestants, and the cold reaching as low as -20 degrees, with the contestants being occasionally sprayed with water. Both chambers were horrible, and in addition to the high and low temperatures, they both featured 40-mile-per-hour wind gusts, along with periodic 140-mile-per-hour winds from air cannons, oxygen saturation dropping to only 70%, electrodes that forced muscle contractions, and simulated earthquakes. The show essentially started with a game of categories, where two players would go back and forth, naming as many of something that fits the category as possible. Whoever won 2 rounds first would then go on to the main game. But before the main game, players were then offered a $500 buyout to stop the game, but no one in the history of the show ever did, and from here on, the show gets concerning at best and flat out deadly at worst. After the computer chose between hot or cold, the contestants would be strapped into a torture chamber, where they would answer a variety of questions while their surroundings were getting more and more extreme.
Jennifer, that was fantastic. My goodness, look at this. Ice in the hair. How you doing?
I'm freezing.
All right, let's get a towel on her. Jennifer, what was the most difficult part?
I think it was the cold air because I couldn't hear anything. I think the worst thing though was the vibrating picky things in my back. I was like, it's painful.
Christina, what hurt in there?
My legs, they hurt really bad. They were really hot and they burned, and it just felt like there were irons on them.
Although they monitored heart rate, blood pressure, and body temperature, it was still torturous. And yes, players could technically stop the game at any time, but that doesn't mean the viewers thought highly of the show. Sportscaster Matt Vergarsian was initially set to host the show, but quit in disgust, walking off the set during rehearsal. Rick Schwartz ended up hosting the show, which had a grand prize of $126,000, although the largest winner in the show's 6-episode history only won a fraction of that, at $20,000, which was likely nowhere near worth it, as the contestant in question, Scott Brown, was sent to the hospital after filming due to severe hypothermia. Brown was awarded $100,000 out of court for his injuries, and along with the financial liability of a show of this nature, viewership from the 1st to 3rd episode had decreased in the ballpark of 4 million plus, and the show generated an extremely negative reaction. Described in reviews as very cruel, a prototype for the joy-free game show, and a sordid, putrid mess, The Chamber was cancelled after only 3 of its 6 filmed episodes received any airtime, and is currently sitting with a rating of 3.8 stars out of 10 on IMDb, much higher than I would have expected. Dog Eat Dog. Airing first in June of 2002, the American edition of Dog Eats Dog seems to be very normal on paper, but I guess as they say, everything's fine until it's not. Based off the UK's version of Dog Eats Dog, American Dog Eats Dog was a pretty straightforward game show, with participants voting and then competing accordingly in challenges like strip games, flag capture, and Little Genius, all with the hopes of winning the $25,000 grand prize. The show's controversy arose after competitor Darren Goka had to be admitted to the hospital after falling unconscious. In Goka's lawsuit towards the network, they claimed brain damage after a mechanism failed during a task that required them to hold their breath underwater. in case you were curious, Goka's team lost out on the potential prize. NBC described the show by saying that sexy and savvy players were chose to compete for the $25,000 prize and title of top dog. But with the show's supposed low viewership and almost murder, Dog Eat Dog was set to rest in August of 2003. The week we went wild. First airing on Channel 5 in January of 2017, The Week We Went Wild was a reality TV show in where a troubled family went on a 5-day trip through the Panamanian jungle in attempts to bond and grow closer. In The Guardian's review of the show, they described the family as broken and unprepared, saying that this genuinely suffering, broken, angry clan are turned out into the jungle as ill-equipped to help themselves out of their own hopeless dynamic as they are to cross crocodile-infested rivers, build shelters, and search for potable water. They brawl helplessly at each other, mirrored in grief and tropical mud. The review continues by calling the show flat out boring, and adding that the family supposedly went out with no food or water, which is likely untrue. The article ends by stating that as a study of everything that is wrong with reality television, you couldn't ask for more. It was lazy, corrupt, exploitative of damaged, vulnerable people, and altogether shameful. The show was cut off after airing only 4 45-minute long episodes in the span of only 22 short days. Antique Inspectors. Antique Inspectors from 1999 on the BBC is a show where antique inspectors traveled around the UK, and it was cancelled because the host Jill Dando died after filming the first episode. And although there seemed to be 9 in total, knowing the history does make it rather eerie, considering she was ambushed and shot at her home at around 11:32 a.m., with a pistol being pressed against her head, meaning that no one in the neighborhood heard a thing, or at least not a gunshot. And with that, the killer is likely still on the loose. Theories range from her murderer being Barry George, her neighbor who was later convicted of a different murder and sex charges, to her murder being the result of a Serbian crime gang, because she converted the Serb Kavasko war fundraiser, where she raised over $2,100,000 in today's currency, adjusting for inflation, for refugees facing difficulties, to a crazed fan, but will likely never know what really happened on that unfaithful day.
We don't have towel dispensers, but I'm here at Cut Studios, and I'm literally a little freaked out, but, you know, wish me best of luck. We'll see how this goes.
Family Forensics, UK.
All right, the Fajardo family is en route to their resort, which means you guys have 48 hours to go into their house, ransack it, and create a detailed profile of this family.
Family Forensics UK, from 2005 on Living TV, is a show where real forensic teams essentially investigated a regular family's home and belongings, going through their personal belongings, photos, computer files, financial records, and more, with the goal of profiling the lives and psychological makeups of the family members over the course of a weekend. It was cancelled after only 1 episode, and Living TV, the company responsible for airing the show, not only had to apologize, but also bite the bullet of $939,000 in today's currency, adjusted for inflation, because of how catastrophic and troublesome the show turned out to be. Even though the show seems extremely intrusive, it was cancelled for a completely different reason. The show's private investigator, Michael Brown, was a convicted child sex offender. Not only did Brown have 6 offenses from that October and more prior, but he was also in the clear breach of his contract because he never informed the producers of his offenses. I would like to emphasize that this isn't just a random game show host. Because of the nature of the show, this man was searching through people's personal belongings, and at the very least, background checks should have been in place. The show did later re-air without Brown, who was jailed in December of 2005, and with a new team in April of 2006. Oh my gosh, it's button time. Wait, I need to do my dramatic intro. The button.
Hi.
Hi.
I love your pants, by the way.
Thank you. Nice to meet you. I'm Peter.
I'm Sarah. Nice to meet you.
Those pants are
Oh, sorry, I just interrupted Cody.
sick.
What is,
Thank you. So I'm watching Cody's video. I I've already seen the original video, and I'm not going to be reacting to this whole video, but I'm doing that with half of the entire cast of The Button over on my second channel, so I'll link that in the description. But let's watch Cody's reaction to my part.
Your biggest red flag when talking to someone?
Like smoking, drinking.
Yeah.
Yeah, how about you?
I feel like no ambition. A lot of the stuff I do is outside of school.
That was me in high school too. I was like, before senior year, I was like, no drinking, no drugs. I'm anti that shit. I'll never do it in my entire life.
Okay, I won't never do it. I don't think I'll never do it, but like, I don't know. It's just like, I don't think I have to explain myself, but like smoking and drinking, like partying every night, that's not my vibe.
See how that turned out.
Really like volunteering, activism. I ran a podcast at my old school.
Oh, what was it about?
It's just like social justice stuff.
Okay.
Peter,
Yes.
ask Sarah what she wants.
Shout out to podcasting, by the way. I also am a podcaster.
Okay.
Shout out to that.
Use me to
shout
plug
out to
then.
all
That's
podcasters out
cool.
there.
Use,
Be when she grows up.
What do you want to be when you grow up?
Ooh, I want to be a lawyer.
Okay.
What about you?
I really want to do TV production.
That's so cool.
So I'm in a class right now. We're making short films and making segments for the report. It's just
It's so hard to watch myself. I'm just like wondering what he's gonna say every 5 seconds.
super fun. So I just,
That's actually really cool.
Sarah, do you think Peter's cute?
Yeah.
I think you're cute as well.
Thank you.
Have you been in any relationships before?
I have. I've been in 2 serious relationships. Have you?
I've talked to people, but I've never gone fully out because I just, for the
I have the fattest pimple on my head. Holy shit, bro. It's in the thumbnail too. Which I got in the thumbnail, but
longest time I was just like, this is not, like, in high school I don't have time.
Ask Sarah what kinds of things she wants to do date-wise if she gets a boyfriend.
What do you want to do for the first date?
I don't know. Hanging out or having fun. That's my main thing.
I mean, what else is there to do? I think isn't that every single date? Isn't that anyone's hope for a first date? Hanging out, having fun, chilling, being on a date. As long as we're on a date and hanging out and physically together, as well as chilling, in addition to being in the vicinity of one another and
no way.
out on a date, then we can do anything.
How about you?
I used to feel like I always have to do something, but I don't really feel that too much anymore. But if you find a really good show, then you just gotta, it's just like fun to binge a good show with a good person, have good conversations.
I agree.
Binging a show, that's a crazy first date.
not first date. Okay. I asked for a first date and then I was answering for a different thing, but yeah, for a first date that would not be good.
For, someone my age, I feel like that's fucking crazy. Just come over, let's watch the entire Breaking Bad series from start to finish.
It's like a bad show. Like it's funny to laugh about it and stuff.
I have a dare for you too.
Okay.
Oh my god, this is so bad. I was trying to be funny because she likes funny guys. Okay, that's my context for this. That's the context.
I dare you two to hold hands for 30 seconds.
30
In
seconds.
silence and just look at each other.
Wait.
Both hands.
Oh.
The Button loves doing that.
Okay.
If you both consent.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just say in silence.
In silence, look at each other.
Funny, I was trying to be funny. I was really just trying to make her laugh.
Okay.
Okay, wait. So other reactors that I watched literally were like grilling the fuck out of me. Cody's so chill. What the fuck?
I'm gonna light up red one more time. You can stay holding hands. And if
We might get 2 winners in one episode.
you two like each other and wanna go on a second date, don't press me. Here we go.
I'm not pressing it.
I'm not president either.
Oh, it's Christmas lights.
God damn, this is the shit I live for! 2 winners in one fucking video.
You want a hug?
Yeah. Let's go.
The kid's outfit is sick.
You. Also, why the fuck did they put in this low ass quality clip? They just took us outside and filmed us with an iPhone. Like, oh my gosh.
What are you gonna do for your second date?
We go like mini golfing or something.
That'll be cool. I've never been mini golfing.
I don't know.
As long as we can hang out during that. Jesus fuck, man.
Facts.
I'm in too deep, man. Cody is gonna love reacting to this. That's the 3rd comment. That was really nice. That was just some like genuinely nice people on this one, to be honest. So
That was sweet. Okay, well, I don't know. Go watch the video on my second channel. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Let me know what you think. Bye.
I started dating someone, around the middle of summer, right? After they told me the casting call, and they took so long to actually film by the time I was dating someone while we were shooting this.
Wait,
I still wanted to go.
you the one that got in
Wait.
trouble? Because I heard the producers were like mad at someone for being in a
No,
relationship.
there
and they
was
didn't know what's
it
going on.
was another girl.